Good afternoon. My name is Ted Jones, and I'm here with the Nuclear Energy Institute. NEI, for those of you who don't know, is the policy organization for the nuclear industry in the United States. We work with our members, which include all of the utilities that own and operate the U.S. fleet of 94 reactors, all the companies that design reactors of all sizes, from large to small to micros, and the companies that provide components and services to these reactors across their lifetime. We also have in our membership at NEI the U.S. universities that have nuclear engineering programs and the U.S. National Nuclear Laboratories. So we really represent the nuclear enterprise writ large in the United States. And I'm here to give an update on the status and outlook for nuclear in the U.S. And I'm pleased to say that we have never seen such momentum for new nuclear at home and nuclear energy partnerships abroad as we do today. And it is a huge opportunity for us in the United States that we'd like to share with all our international partners. As you'll see, the United States may be the largest nuclear energy market that is not a closed market. We are, as you heard from the prior presentations, building supply chains now for all these new designs that are very real and coming to the market in the near term. And it's a national imperative, not just for our industry, but for our government across the political spectrum. Nuclear energy in the United States currently accounts for about 1/5 of the generated electricity, but it's roughly half of the clean electricity. And this is something that has become increasingly valued by our utilities, by our government, federal and state, at every level. And our utilities have looked at nuclear in a new way in the last decade, as they have been pushed by their boards of directors, by their major customers, by their ordinary users, by their state regulatory boards to decarbonize. They have made commitments to decarbonize. And I know this may not be what you expect to hear from an industry representative from Washington, D.C. in 2025, but these decarbonization commitments are very real. They cannot be ignored. Maybe with different policy from Washington, they will slide a little bit, but these utilities are making long-term plans that aren't changing for one or another occupant of the White House. There's much bigger factors driving them. And as they look to see how they can achieve these commitments, they have done studies, and they've all concluded over and over again, which I think all of you well appreciate, that nuclear, even if it's a higher marginal cost, leads to a cleaner, a lower cost clean energy system. And we survey these utilities that are our members, all of the operators of our current plants, and we've asked them, how are you going to meet those commitments? They've told us a lot here, but what I want to focus on is they intend to extend the current 95% of our existing fleet to at least 80 years. Almost all of these 94 reactors have already been extended from the original 40 to 60 years. They also tell us they need over 23 gigawatts of new nuclear by 2040. And this is something that has continued to go up in the 3 years we've been conducting this survey. That's a lot of new nuclear. And a lot of what's driven it is the increased demand in the United States for not just electricity, but firm, clean electricity that can help meet the commitments the utilities have made. And this demand, we have been for decades, we were in flat growth. That is over. This shows the 5-year growth forecast made in 2022, 2023, 2024, and it is on an upward curve. A lot of this driven by AI and data centers. And some of these companies, these big IT companies, aren't even waiting for the utilities to develop their nuclear generation. They're taking matters into their own hands. You've seen plant restarts. You've seen tie-ups with advanced reactor companies. They are thirsty for power, and they have settled on nuclear as a critical part of the solution. If you look at our public, I just focus on this last decade. You've seen steady growth in public support for nuclear. We've done a lot of studies from NEI, and one thing we've learned is that the opposition has always been rather soft, but it has steadily grown, and today we can say in Washington, D.C., where there's very little agreement on anything between Republicans and Democrats, there is very solid support from the left to the right for nuclear energy. The Democrats used to be maybe divided, but there are very few Democrats opposed to nuclear. Now, they know it's part of the clean energy solution. Republicans like the energy security benefits, and this cross-party support has only become stronger. And we've seen it manifested in the last administration with the Inflation Reduction Act, which provided tax credits to nuclear, put it on a level playing field for the first time with renewables. And that got only Democratic votes. So when President Trump came into office, Republicans immediately set about repealing all of that bill. But guess what? They kept the nuclear tax credits. So we're in a great space. President Trump also issued executive orders in May to accelerate nuclear energy development at home and partnerships abroad. It is a top subject of conversation in all the bilateral dialogues our administration is having around the world today. You see headlines in every major bilateral and multilateral that President Trump and other senior officials are participating in that relate to nuclear. We have, for the last decade, been approaching nuclear cooperation in a different way than in the past. We're a private sector industry, and we know a lot of customers and their governments are used to suppliers that are state-owned or state-supported, and they make things simpler. Well, the government has evolved to play a role as integrator of all the advantages that the U.S. can bring to nuclear energy partnership. You see the Department of Energy integrating financing, export licensing, regulatory support, all of the things that a country needs to develop more nuclear or nuclear for the first time. And there's a deep appreciation in our government, both parties, that nuclear energy is a way to build relationships between countries long-term, regardless of the government. And I think we should all look at it this way, because if we don't like where our bilateral relationship is today and would like it to be better, nuclear energy is a way to chart the relationship that we want 10, 100 years from now. I wanted to show this map. Don't ask me about every one of the dots on here, but this just shows you how much development is happening in the U.S. These are projects that are expected to be in operation by the 2030s. The map to 2040s is too crowded. You have projects that are considered, planned, under construction, and operating of sizes from large to small to micro, including some test reactors and university reactors. And you see, we update this every month. Some of these are under construction now. Here's some photos just to see what they look like. And just to reiterate, nuclear energy cooperation is not something for 2025 or even 2030. It's not something with the governments we have today. It's something that's going to shape our partnerships for the next 100 years. And, you know, we may be in a longer era of geopolitical tensions we didn't have during our lifetimes. And I think that makes our partnerships based on mutual trust and respect, shared values, more important. And let's look to nuclear as a way that we can build those relationships. Just to close, we've got a major expansion coming in the United States. I think here, this should be seen as a commercial opportunity. If you build a U.S. design in your country, you will automatically be in the supply chain for that construction in the United States and in third countries. Long term, look, look at Korea, Japan, even France were originally partners of the United States. It's in our DNA to be industrial partners, to transfer technology and localize and create global supply chains. We've never been like this since the dawn of nuclear energy. So it's a huge opportunity. Many different designs that are going to play roles in the market. It's not going to be a single one. And once again, long-term proposition with long-term benefits. So we hope we can be partners looking ahead, and I look forward to any questions that any might want to ask following this session. Look forward to hearing your perspectives on this and hearing your take. Thank you.